The Faerie Queene, Edmund Spenser. Chapter 1. The Red Cross. Knight begins his journey. In a magical land far away, there was a brave knight named the Redcrosse Knight. He was not just any knight. He was special because he had been chosen by the Faerie Queene herself. The Faerie Queene was a wise and powerful ruler who lived in a beautiful castle surrounded by forests, rivers, and mountains. Her name was Gloriana, and everyone loved her because she was kind and fair. The Red Cross. Knight wore shiny armor that sparkled in the sunlight. On his chest there was a red cross painted on his shield and armor. This red cross showed that he was a holy knight, someone who fought for good and protected innocent people. The Faerie Queene gave him an important mission. She told him, "You must go on a big adventure to help a lady named Una. She needs your help to save her parents from a terrible dragon." Una was a beautiful and gentle lady. She always wore a long white dress that made her look like an angel. With her, she carried a small white lamb. The lamb was a symbol of her purity and goodness. Una's parents were trapped in a dark castle guarded by the dragon, and she needed a brave knight to rescue them. The Redcrosse Knight agreed to help her without hesitation. Together, the Redcrosse Knight and Una set out on their journey. They rode their horses through green fields, deep forests, and over high hills. The weather was nice at first. The sun shone brightly and birds sang sweetly. But soon the path became darker and more dangerous. Trees grew taller, blocking out the sunlight. Shadows fell across the road, and strange noises echoed around them. One day, as they traveled deeper into the forest, something unexpected happened. A huge monster appeared in front of them. This monster was called Error. Error was a frightening creature, half woman and half snake. She had the body of a giant serpent with scales that shimmered like metal. Her face, however, was human, but twisted and ugly. Her eyes glowed red, and her mouth opened wide to reveal sharp teeth. Error lived in a dark cave nearby. When she saw the Redcrosse Knight and Una, she hissed angrily. "Who dares enter my forest?" she growled. The Redcrosse Knight stepped forward bravely. "I am the Redcrosse Knight," he said. "We are on a noble quest, and we will not let you stop us." Error laughed loudly. "You think you can defeat me? Many have tried and all have failed." Then she attacked. Her long tail whipped through the air, trying to knock the Redcrosse Knight off his horse. Her claws reached out to grab him, and her sharp teeth snapped dangerously close to his face. The battle was fierce. The Redcrosse Knight swung his sword again and again, trying to hit Error, but she was quick and slippery, dodging his attacks easily. Sometimes she wrapped her tail around him, squeezing tightly so he could barely breathe. Other times, she spat poison from her mouth, making it hard for him to see. Una watched the fight with worry. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. Finally, she had an idea. She shouted to the Redcrosse Woke Bravery Knight, "Remember who you are fighting for! Think of the innocent people depending on you!" Her words gave the Redcrosse Knight new strength. He tightened his grip on his sword and fought even harder. After what felt like hours, the Redcrosse Knight found an opening. He struck Error right in her heart. With a loud scream, Error fell to the ground and disappeared into smoke. The forest grew quiet again, and the sunlight returned. The Redcrosse Knight was exhausted, but victorious. He turned to Una and said, "Thank you for your encouragement. Without you, I might not have won." Una smiled warmly. "We make a good team," she replied. They rested for a while before continuing their journey. Both of them knew that this was only the beginning of their adventure. Many more challenges lay ahead, but they were ready to face them together. Chapter 2. The Evil Magician. After defeating Error, the Redcrosse Knight and Una felt proud of themselves. They had faced a terrible monster and won, but they knew their journey was far from over. The road ahead was still long, and many dangers could be waiting for them. So they decided to keep moving forward. As they rode their horses through the forest, the sun began to set. The sky turned orange and pink, and the air grew cooler. Shadows stretched long across the ground. "We should find a safe place to rest for the night," said Una. The Redcrosse Knight agreed. "Let's look for somewhere sheltered where we can sleep without worry." They soon came across a small cottage. It looked cozy and peaceful, with smoke curling out of the chimney and flowers growing around the door. A man stood outside, wearing a long robe and holding a staff. He had a kind face and a calm voice. "Welcome, travelers," he said. "I am Archimago. You look tired. Please come inside and rest." The Redcrosse Knight and Una were grateful for his offer. They followed Archimago into the cottage. Inside, it was warm and inviting. There was a fire burning in the hearth and a table filled with food. Archimago served them bread, cheese, and soup. "Eat and rest," he said. "You are safe here." At first, everything seemed perfect. The food was delicious, and the fire made them feel warm and comfortable. But Archimago was not what he seemed. Although he looked like a wise and holy man, he was actually an evil magician. He watched the Redcrosse Knight and Una carefully, thinking of ways to trick them. That night, after they had eaten and talked for a while, Archimago suggested they go to bed. "You must be very tired," he said. "Sleep well, and tomorrow you will feel strong again." The Redcrosse Knight and Una thanked him and went to separate rooms to sleep. Una lay down on a soft bed, and the Redcrosse Knight rested on a pile of blankets near the fire. But Archimago did not sleep. As soon as he was sure they were both asleep, he began to work his magic. He took out a book filled with spells and opened it under the light of a candle. Muttering strange words, he waved, his hands in the air. Slowly, a dark cloud formed above the Redcrosse Knight's head. This cloud carried bad dreams, nightmares meant to confuse and deceive him. In the dream, the Redcrosse Knight saw Una doing terrible things. She was laughing cruelly and working with monsters. He saw her betraying him and leaving him to die. The dream felt so real that the Redcrosse Knight woke up in a panic. His heart was racing, and he couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. "Can I trust Una?" he wondered. "Is she really as good as she seems?" The next morning, the Redcrosse Knight was quiet and distant. He avoided looking at Una and barely spoke to her. Una noticed his strange behavior and asked, "What is wrong? Did something happen during the night?" But the Redcrosse Knight shook his head. "Nothing happened." He lied. "I'm fine." Archimago smiled secretly to himself. His plan was working. Later that day, when Una and the Redcrosse Knight prepared to leave, the knight suddenly said, "I need to go alone for a while. I must think about my mission and clear my mind." Una was surprised and hurt. "But we are supposed to stay together," she said. "We promised to help each other." "I know," replied the Redcrosse Knight. "But I cannot focus properly right now. I will find you later." With that, he mounted his horse and rode away, leaving Una behind. Una stood there, watching him disappear into the distance. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't cry. Instead, she whispered, "Be careful, brave knight. I hope you return to me soon." Meanwhile, Archimago was not finished with his tricks. After the Redcrosse Knight left, he used his magic again. This time he created a fake Una, a copy that looked exactly like the real one. The fake Una wore the same white dress and carried the same lamb. But unlike the real Una, this one was wicked and deceitful. Archimago sent her after the Redcrosse Knight, hoping to cause even more trouble. The fake Una caught up to the Redcrosse Knight quickly. When he saw her, he was confused. "Una? What are you doing here?" he asked. "I thought you stayed at the cottage." The fake Una smiled sweetly. "I missed you," she said. "I wanted to make sure you were okay." The Redcrosse Knight didn't trust her completely, but he also didn't want to seem rude. So he let her stay with him for a while. They traveled together, but the Redcrosse Knight kept feeling uneasy. Something about this Una wasn't right. She acted differently from the real Una, more selfish and less kind. One day, as they walked through a dark forest, the Redcrosse Knight stopped suddenly. "Who are you really?" he demanded. "You are not the real Una." The fake Una laughed, coldly. "Of course I'm not," she admitted. "But you abandoned the real Una anyway. Why do you care so much about her? She is weak and useless." The Redcrosse Knight was shocked. He realized he had made a big mistake by leaving Una behind. Now he was stuck with this impostor who only wanted to harm him. Feeling angry and ashamed, he drew his sword. "Leave me alone!" he shouted. The fake Una stepped back, laughing. "Fine," she said, "but don't expect things to get easier for you." With that, the fake Una disappeared into the shadows, leaving the Redcrosse Knight alone once again. He sat down on a rock and buried his face in his hands. "What have I done?" he thought. "I doubted Una, the one person who has always been loyal to me. How can I fix this?" Little did he know, Una was facing her own struggles. Back at the cottage, she had woken up to find the Redcrosse Knight gone. At first, she was sad and worried, but then she remembered how strong and brave she was. "I cannot give up," she told herself. "If the Redcrosse Knight needs me, I will find him. No matter what happens, I will not lose hope." And so, Una began her own journey. She left the cottage and walked through the forest, searching for any sign of the Redcrosse Knight. Along the way, she met new friends and faced new challenges. But no matter how hard things got, she never stopped believing in herself, or in the knight she loved. As the sun rose on another day, the Redcrosse Knight and Una were still apart. Each of them was lost in their own thoughts, unsure of what would happen next. But deep down, they both knew one thing: their paths would cross again. And when they did, they would have to face even greater dangers, together. Chapter 3. Una Alone in the Forest. After the Redcrosse Knight left her behind, Una felt very lonely. She stood in the forest for a long time, watching him ride away until he disappeared into the distance. Her heart was heavy with sadness, but she did not cry. Instead, she took a deep breath and reminded herself of her mission. "I must be brave," she thought. "The Redcrosse Knight needs me, and so do my parents. I cannot give up." Una decided to continue her journey alone. She walked through the forest, holding her lamb close to her chest. The lamb was her only companion now, and its soft bleating gave her some comfort. As she walked, the forest grew, darker and quieter. The trees seemed taller, their branches reaching out like arms trying to grab her. Shadows danced on the ground, and strange sounds echoed around her. Una was scared, but she kept walking. She had no choice. She needed to find the Redcrosse Knight and help him complete their mission. Along the way, she thought about the mistakes they had both made. "He doubted me," she whispered to herself. "But I should have trusted him more. Maybe if I had explained things better, he wouldn't have left." Suddenly, as she stepped into a clearing, she heard a loud roar. Una froze. Out of the bushes came a huge lion. Its golden fur shimmered in the sunlight, and its eyes glowed fiercely. The lion opened its mouth wide, showing sharp teeth. It roared again, shaking the ground beneath Una's feet. Una was terrified. She stepped back slowly, clutching her lamb tightly. But instead of attacking her, the lion stopped and looked at her carefully. It saw her kindness and purity. It saw how gentle she was, even though she was scared. Slowly, the lion lowered its head and lay down at her feet. It wagged its tail like a dog, showing that it meant no harm. Una was surprised. She reached out her hand hesitantly and touched the lion's head. The lion purred softly, like a big cat happy to be petted. From that moment on, the lion became her friend. It stayed by her side, protecting her as she traveled through the forest. With the lion by her side, Una felt safer. Together they walked for many days. They crossed rivers, climbed hills, and passed through dark valleys. Along the way, they met other animals, a deer that shared its food with them, a bird that sang beautiful songs to cheer them up, and even a squirrel that helped them find nuts to eat. One day, as they were walking, they came to a small house. It was simple but cozy, with smoke coming out of the chimney and flowers growing around the door. A kind old man stood outside, wearing a long robe and holding a staff. He smiled when he saw Una and the lion. "Welcome, traveler," he said. "You look tired. Please come inside and rest." Una was grateful for his offer. She followed the old man into the house, and the lion waited outside, guarding the door. Inside, the house was warm and inviting. There was a fire burning in the hearth and a table filled with food. The old man served Una bread, cheese, and soup. "Eat and rest," he said. "You are safe here." As Una ate, the old man asked her about her journey. She told him everything, about the Redcrosse Knight, the dragon that had captured her parents, and how they had been separated. The old man listened carefully. When she finished, he nodded wisely. "Do not lose hope," he said. "The path you are on is difficult, but it will lead you to greatness. Trust in yourself and trust in the people who care about you." Una felt comforted by his words. She thanked him and promised to keep going, no matter how hard things got. After resting for a while, she prepared to leave. The old man gave her a small charm to wear around her neck. "This will protect you," he said. "It will remind you of your strength and guide you on your journey." When Una stepped outside, the lion was still waiting for her. Together, they continued their journey. The forest began to change as they walked. The trees grew thinner, and the air felt fresher. Soon they came to a wide-open field filled with flowers. The sun shone brightly, and birds sang happily. It was a peaceful place, and Una felt hopeful for the first time in days. But her journey was far from over. In the distance, she could see tall mountains rising into the sky. She knew that beyond those mountains lay the kingdom where her parents were trapped. She also knew that the Redcrosse Knight might be somewhere nearby, facing his own challenges. Meanwhile, the Redcrosse Knight was having troubles of his own. After leaving the fake Una, he had wandered into a dark and dangerous part of the forest. He was lost and confused, unsure of which way to go. He missed the real Una and regretted doubting her. I was wrong to leave her, he thought. She has always been loyal to me. I must find her and make things right. As the sun set, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, both Una and the Redcrosse Knight were thinking of each other. They didn't know it yet, but their paths were slowly coming closer together. Somewhere ahead of them, new challenges awaited. Challenges that would test their courage, their faith, and their love for each other. Chapter 4. The Redcrosse Knight meets Duessa. The Redcrosse Knight was lost in a dark and dangerous part of the forest. He had been wandering for days, unsure of where to go or how to find Una. His heart felt heavy with regret. I should never have doubted her, he thought. She has always been loyal to me. I must find her and make things right. As he walked through the shadows, the forest seemed to grow darker and more menacing. The trees twisted and groaned as if they were alive. Strange noises echoed around him, howls, whispers, and the sound of footsteps that weren't his own. The Redcrosse Knight tightened his grip on his sword, ready to face whatever danger might come. Suddenly, he heard a soft voice calling out to him. "Help! Please! Someone help me!" The voice sounded weak and frightened. The Redcrosse Knight stopped and looked around. Through the trees, he saw a woman lying on the ground. She was dressed in rich, colorful clothes, and her hair was long and golden. Her face was pale, and she looked like she was in pain. The Redcrosse Knight rushed to her side. "Are you hurt?" he asked. The woman looked up at him with tear-filled eyes. "Yes," she said softly. "My name is Duessa. I am traveling alone, and some cruel men attacked me. They stole my horse and left me here to die. Please, can you help me?" The Redcrosse Knight felt sorry for her. "Of course," he said. "I will protect you." He helped her stand up and gave her some water from his flask. Duessa smiled gratefully. "Thank you, brave knight. You are truly noble." At first, Duessa seemed kind and gentle. She told the Redcrosse Knight stories about her travels and praised him for his bravery. But she was not what she seemed. Duessa was actually a wicked sorceress who used her beauty and charm to trick people. Her real goal was to lead the Redcrosse Knight into danger and destroy him. As they traveled together, Duessa began to test the Redcrosse Knight. She led him to a castle ruled by a giant named Orgoglio. Orgoglio was a mean and powerful creature who loved to fight. His castle was dark and gloomy, surrounded by thick walls and guarded by fierce monsters. When the Redcrosse Knight and Duessa arrived, Orgoglio came out to meet them. "Who dares enter my land?" Orgoglio roared. His voice shook the ground, and his eyes glowed red with anger. The Redcrosse Knight stepped forward bravely. "I am the Redcrosse Knight," he said. "We mean no harm. We are just passing through." But Orgoglio didn't care. He hated strangers and wanted to fight. "If you want to pass, you must defeat me," he shouted. Then he attacked. His huge fists swung through the air, trying to crush the Redcrosse Knight. His feet stomped so hard that the ground cracked beneath him. The battle was fierce. The Redcrosse Knight fought with all his strength, swinging his sword again and again. But Orgoglio was too strong. His blows knocked the Redcrosse Knight off. His feet and his armor began to crack. Finally, Orgoglio grabbed the Redcrosse Knight and threw him into a dungeon deep beneath the castle. Duessa laughed coldly. "You fool," she said to the Redcrosse Knight. "Did you really think I cared about you? I only wanted to see you destroyed." Then she turned to Orgoglio. "Take his armor and weapons. Keep him locked up forever." Meanwhile, far away, Una was still searching for the Redcrosse Knight. She and the lion had crossed the wide-open field and were now climbing the tall mountains. The path was steep and rocky, and the air was cold and thin. But Una didn't give up. She kept thinking about the Redcrosse Knight and how much she missed him. "I will find you," she whispered. "No matter what happens, I will not lose hope." One day, as she reached the top of a mountain, she saw something in the distance, a bright light shining in the sky. It was coming from a castle far below. Una knew that something important was happening there. "That must be where the Redcrosse Knight is," she thought. "I must hurry." With the lion by her side, Una began her descent down the mountain. The journey was difficult, but she didn't stop. Along the way, she met a group of travelers who told her about a brave knight trapped in a castle ruled by a giant. "That must be him," Una thought. "I must save him." As she got closer to the castle, she could feel her heart beating faster. She knew that the Redcrosse Knight needed her help, but she also knew that getting into the castle would be dangerous. Guards stood at every gate and monsters roamed the halls. Still, Una didn't hesitate. She was determined to rescue the man she loved. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, the Redcrosse Knight was weak and tired. He had been locked up for days without food or water. His armor and weapons were gone, taken by Orgoglio. But even in his darkest moment, he didn't give up hope. "Una will come for me," he thought. "She will not leave me here." Little did he know, help was already on the way. Far away, a great hero named Prince Arthur was riding through the forest. He was noble and brave, known for helping those in need. As he traveled, he heard rumors about a knight trapped in a castle, ruled by a giant. "I must help him," Prince Arthur thought. "No one deserves to suffer like that." Prince Arthur rode quickly toward the castle. Along the way, he prepared himself for battle. He sharpened his sword, polished his armor, and prayed for strength. When he arrived at the castle gates, he challenged Orgoglio to a fight. "Release the knight you have captured," he demanded, "or face me in battle." Orgoglio laughed loudly. "You dare challenge me?" he roared. "Very well. Let's see if you are as strong as you claim." Then the two of them began to fight. The battle was long and difficult. Orgoglio was huge and powerful, but Prince Arthur was fast and clever. He dodged the giant's blows and struck back with his sword. Finally, after hours of fighting, Prince Arthur defeated Orgoglio. The giant fell to the ground, and the castle shook as he died. Prince Arthur wasted no time. He ran into the dungeon and freed the Redcrosse Knight. "Who are you?" the Redcrosse Knight asked weakly. "And why did you save me?" Prince Arthur smiled. "I am Prince Arthur," he said. "I heard about your troubles and came to help. Now let us leave this place before more danger comes." The Redcrosse Knight was grateful. With Prince Arthur's help, he regained his strength. Together they left the castle and began their journey back to safety. But the Redcrosse Knight couldn't stop thinking about Una. "I must find her," he said. "She is the reason I fight." Prince Arthur nodded. "Then let us search for her together," he said. "She sounds like a remarkable woman." As they traveled, they didn't know that Una was already close. She had reached the castle and was searching for the Redcrosse Knight. Their paths were about to cross again, bringing them closer to their final mission, together. Chapter 5. Prince Arthur Saves the Day. The Redcrosse Knight was weak but alive, thanks to Prince Arthur. After defeating Orgoglio, the giant who had captured him, Prince Arthur helped the Redcrosse Knight leave the dark and gloomy castle. The air outside felt fresh and clean, a sharp contrast to the suffocating dungeon where the Redcrosse Knight had been trapped. He took a deep breath and looked at Prince Arthur with gratitude. "Thank you," the Redcrosse Knight said. "I owe you my life. Without your help, I would still be locked in that dungeon." Prince Arthur smiled kindly. "It is my duty to help those in need," he replied. "But tell me, brave knight, why were you captured? And where is the lady you spoke?" "Of Una?" the Redcrosse Knight sighed. His heart ached when he thought of Una. "She is the reason I fight," he explained. "We were on a noble quest together, but I doubted her because of lies and tricks. I left her behind, and now I fear she is in danger. I must find her." Prince Arthur nodded. "Then let us search for her together," he said firmly. "If she is as brave and pure as you say, she will not give up easily. She may already be looking for you." Meanwhile, Una was closer than they realized. She had reached the castle where the Redcrosse Knight had been held captive. Her journey through the mountains had been long and difficult, but her determination never wavered. Along the way, she had faced many challenges: steep cliffs, icy winds, and even wild animals. But the lion stayed by her side, protecting her every step of the way. When Una arrived at the castle, she saw that it was empty. So, Giant Orgoglio was dead, and his guards had fled. She searched the halls carefully, calling out, "Redcrosse Knight, are you here?" But there was no answer. Her heart sank. Where could he be? She wondered. Is he safe? As she walked through the castle, she noticed something strange. A trail of footprints leading away from the gates. They were fresh, and they belonged to two people. One set of footprints was large and heavy, likely from someone wearing armor. The other was smaller and lighter. Una's heart leapt with hope. Could this be the Redcrosse Knight? She thought. And who is with him? She followed the trail, with the lion padding silently beside her. The path led her through the forest, where the trees grew tall and the sunlight filtered through the leaves in golden beams. As she walked, she began to hear voices ahead. They were faint at first, but as she got closer, she recognized one of them. It was the Redcrosse Knight. Una ran toward the sound, her heart pounding with excitement. When she burst into the clearing, she saw the Redcrosse Knight standing with another man. He was tall and strong, wearing shining armor that sparkled in the sunlight. This was Prince Arthur, the hero who had saved the Redcrosse Knight. The Redcrosse Knight turned when he heard Una's footsteps. At first, he couldn't believe his eyes. Was it really her? Or was this another trick? But then he saw the lamb she carried and the kindness in her eyes. It was Una, the real Una. Tears filled his eyes as he rushed to her. "Una!" he cried. "I am so sorry. I doubted you, and I left you behind. Please forgive me." Una smiled warmly, though her own eyes were wet with tears. "There is nothing to forgive," she said softly. "We both made mistakes. What matters is that we are together again." She hugged him tightly, and for the first time in days, the Redcrosse Knight felt peace in his heart. Prince Arthur watched the reunion with a smile. "It seems my work here is done," he said. "You two have much to do, and I must continue my own journey. But remember this: if you ever need help, do not hesitate to call upon me." The Redcrosse Knight and Una thanked Prince Arthur deeply. "We will never forget your kindness," the Redcrosse Knight said. Prince Arthur nodded and mounted his horse. With a final wave, he rode off into the forest, leaving the two of them alone. Now reunited, the Redcrosse Knight and Una sat down to talk. They shared their stories, how the Redcrosse Knight had been tricked by Duessa and captured by Orgoglio, and how Una had faced her own struggles while searching for him. They laughed and cried together, grateful to be back at each other's side. But their mission was not over yet. Una reminded the Redcrosse Knight of their ultimate goal, to save her parents from the terrible dragon. "We must keep going," she said. "The dragon is still out there, and my parents are counting on us." The Redcrosse Knight nodded. "You're right," he said. "We cannot rest until our mission is complete. Together we can face anything." With renewed strength and determination, they prepared to continue their journey. They traveled through the forest once more, following the path that led to Una's kingdom. Along the way, they talked about everything they had learned. The Redcrosse Knight realized how important it was to trust Una and to believe in her goodness. Una, in turn, understood that the Redcrosse Knight had only acted out of confusion and doubt. Their bond was stronger than ever. As they walked, they began to notice signs that they were getting closer to the dragon's lair. The air grew warmer, and the ground was blackened as if burned by fire. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, roars and growls that sent shivers down their spines. They knew the final battle was near. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with shades of orange and purple, they came to a hill overlooking Una's kingdom. From there they could see the dragon. It was huge, with scales that shimmered like metal and wings that stretched wide across the sky. Its eyes glowed red, and smoke curled from its nostrils. Around it lay the ruins of Una's parents' castle, its walls broken and charred. The sight filled them with both fear and determination. "This is it," the Redcrosse Knight said. "Tomorrow we will face the dragon and free your parents." Una nodded. "Together we will win," she said. "I believe in you." That night, they rested under the stars. The Redcrosse Knight sharpened his sword and checked his armor, preparing for the battle ahead. Una prayed silently, asking for strength and courage. The lion lay nearby, watching over them protectively. As they drifted off to sleep, they both dreamed of victory. They imagined the dragon defeated, the kingdom restored, and Una's parents safe and happy. But they also knew that the road ahead would not be easy. The dragon was fierce and powerful, and the battle would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. When the sun rose the next morning, they woke up ready to face whatever came their way. Together, they climbed the hill and approached the dragon's lair. Their hearts were filled with hope, and their minds were focused on one thing: their mission. Little did they know the dragon had already sensed their presence. It lifted its massive head and roared, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Flames shot from its mouth, lighting up the sky. The final battle was about to begin. Chapter 6. The Final Battle Against the Dragon. The Redcrosse Knight and Una stood at the edge of the dragon's lair, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The dragon was enormous, its body covered in thick metallic scales that glinted in the sunlight, its wings stretched wide, casting a shadow over the land. Smoke curled from its nostrils, and flames flickered in its eyes like burning coals. It roared again, a sound so loud it shook the ground beneath their feet. The Redcrosse Knight tightened his grip on his sword. He turned to Una and said, "Stay back. This battle is mine to fight." Una nodded, though her hands trembled with worry. She stepped back, clutching her lamb tightly, and watched as the Redcrosse Knight stepped forward to face the dragon. The dragon saw him and lowered its massive head, glaring with fiery eyes. It opened its mouth wide, releasing a stream of fire that scorched the earth. The Redcrosse Knight dodged just in time, rolling to the side as the flames licked past him. He stood up quickly, raising his shield to protect himself. The dragon's next attack came swiftly, a swipe of its claw that sent rocks flying through the air. The battle was fierce and unrelenting. The dragon was strong and fast, its movements unpredictable. It charged at the Redcrosse Knight, knocking him off his feet. It breathed fire again and again, forcing him to retreat. But the Redcrosse Knight refused to give up. He fought with all his might, striking at the dragon's weak spots whenever he could. Una watched from a distance, her heart breaking as she saw the Redcrosse Knight struggle. She wanted to help, but she knew this was his fight. Instead, she whispered prayers and words of encouragement. "You can do it," she said softly. "You are brave and noble. Trust in yourself." The first day of the battle ended with neither side victorious. The Redcrosse Knight was exhausted, his armor dented and his body bruised. He returned to Una, who tended to his wounds and gave him water. "You must rest," she said. "Tomorrow, you will be stronger." The Redcrosse Knight nodded, though his mind was filled with doubt. "I don't know if I can defeat it," he admitted. "It is too powerful." Una placed a hand on his shoulder. "You have faced many challenges before," she reminded him. "You defeated Error, escaped Orgoglio, and survived Archimago's tricks. You are not alone. I am here with you. Together, we can overcome anything." Her words gave him strength. The next morning they woke early and prepared for the second day of battle. The Redcrosse Knight checked his sword and shield, making sure they were ready. Una prayed silently, asking for guidance and protection. Then they returned to the dragon's lair. The second day was even harder than the first. The dragon seemed to grow angrier and more determined. It attacked relentlessly, its claws slashing and its tail whipping through the air. The Redcrosse Knight fought back, striking at the dragon's underbelly where its scales were thinner. But every time he thought he had gained an advantage, the dragon countered with a new attack. By the end of the second day, the Redcrosse Knight was barely standing. His shield was cracked, and his sword felt heavy in his hand. He returned to Una once more, his body aching and his spirit low. "I'm sorry," he said. "I don't think I can win." Una looked at him with tears in her eyes. "You must not give up," she said firmly. "Think of my parents, trapped in the castle. Think of all the innocent people who need you. You are the bravest knight I know. If anyone can defeat this dragon, it is you." Her faith in him reignited his courage. On the third day, the Redcrosse Knight rose with renewed determination. He told himself that this would be the final battle. He would either triumph or fall trying. As he approached the dragon, he felt a strange calmness wash over him. He focused on his mission and pushed all fear aside. The dragon roared and charged at him, breathing fire and swinging its claws. But this time, the Redcrosse Knight was ready. He moved with speed and precision, dodging the dragon's attacks, and striking back with all his strength. He aimed for the dragon's eyes, blinding it temporarily. Then he climbed onto its back, gripping tightly as it thrashed and roared. Finally, with one mighty blow, the Redcrosse Knight drove his sword deep into the dragon's heart. The dragon let out a deafening roar, shaking the entire kingdom. Its body convulsed, and then it collapsed, lifeless, onto the ground. Flames shot into the sky one last time before fading away. The Redcrosse Knight jumped down from the dragon's back, his body trembling with exhaustion. He stumbled toward Una, who ran to meet him. She threw her arms around him, tears streaming down her face. "You did it!" she cried. "You saved us all!" Together they made their way to the ruined castle. Inside, they found Una's parents, weak but alive. They had been trapped for so long, but now they were free. When they saw Una and the Redcrosse Knight, they embraced them with tears of joy. "Thank you," they said. "We owe you everything." The kingdom celebrated their victory. The people cheered for the Redcrosse Knight, hailing him as a hero. They rebuilt the castle and restored peace to the land. Una's parents offered their blessing for Una and the Redcrosse Knight to marry, and the two of them were wed in a grand ceremony. From that day on, the Redcrosse Knight and Una lived happily together. They never forgot the lessons they had learned. On their journey, the importance of trust, courage, and love. And though they faced many challenges, they always faced them together. As the sun set over the kingdom, painting the sky with shades of gold and pink, the Redcrosse Knight and Una stood side by side, looking out over the land they had saved. They held hands, grateful for each other and for the peace they had brought to the world. And so, their story came to an end, but their legacy lived on, inspiring others to be brave, kind, and true.